The rooster's crow pierced through the thin walls, jolting Priya awake. Another day began. The familiar sound was a stark reminder of the life she now led, a life that seemed to repeat itself in an endless loop. Each morning, the rooster's call was like an alarm clock, not just for her body, but for her soul, signaling the start of another day filled with duties and responsibilities that were not her own. But unlike the rising sun, Priya's spirit felt heavy, burdened by the weight of unspoken expectations. She often found herself staring out the window, lost in thought, wondering if there was more to life than this. The world outside seemed so vast and full of possibilities, yet she felt confined within the walls of her home, her dreams stifled by the expectations placed upon her. Married just last year, she had traded the familiar comfort of her parents' home for the unfamiliar territory of her in-laws. The transition had been anything but smooth. The warmth and love she had known all her life were replaced by a cold, distant environment where she constantly felt like an outsider. The new home, though physically close, felt emotionally distant, a place where she struggled to find her footing. Her days were now an endless cycle of chores, cooking, and catering to the needs of her husband's family. From dawn till dusk, her hands were never idle. She cooked meals, cleaned the house, and served her in-laws, all the while suppressing her own desires and ambitions. The routine was exhausting, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. Each task she performed felt like a small piece of her own identity slipping away. Her own dreams, once vibrant and full of life, were fading into the background, much like the intricate henna designs on her hands, slowly losing their color with each passing day. The henna, once a symbol of joy and celebration, now served as a poignant reminder of the dreams she had put on hold. Each fading line represented a part of her that was slowly being erased, replaced by the expectations of others. Priya yearned for a life beyond the four walls of the house, a life where her voice could be heard, her aspirations recognized. She longed for the freedom to pursue her own passions, to carve out a space for herself in the world. The view from the window was a constant reminder of the life she could have had, a life where she was more than just a daughter-in-law, but an individual with her own dreams and desires. But tradition, like an invisible chain, bound her to a predetermined path, a path where her role was clearly defined, the silent, subservient daughter-in-law. The weight of tradition was heavy, and breaking free seemed impossible. The family photos on the wall told a story of generations of women who had walked the same path, their voices silenced by the same expectations. Priya couldn't help but wonder if she would ever be able to break the cycle. Her story, though unique in its details, echoes the silent struggle of countless women across Asia, bound by cultural norms and societal expectations. These women, like Priya, carried the weight of tradition on their shoulders, their dreams and aspirations often taking a back seat to their roles as daughters, wives, and mothers. Their silent struggles were a testament to their strength and resilience, but also a poignant reminder of the change that was desperately needed. In the quiet moments when she found time for herself, Priya would write in her journal, pouring out her thoughts and dreams onto the pages. It was her way of keeping her spirit alive, a small act of rebellion against the life that sought to confine her. She also found solace in books, losing herself in stories of women who had found the courage to break free from their chains. Priya often looked to the sky, finding comfort in its vastness. It reminded her that the world was much bigger than the confines of her home, and that there was a place for her dreams somewhere out there. Walking in the garden, she felt a sense of peace, a connection to the earth that grounded her and gave her hope. Conversations with friends provided a much-needed escape. They shared their struggles and dreams, finding strength in each other's stories. These moments of connection were a lifeline, reminding Priya that she was not alone in her journey. Despite the challenges, Priya held on to a quiet determination. She knew that change would not come easily, but she was willing to take the first step. Her journey was just beginning, and with each passing day, she grew stronger, more resolute in her desire to carve out a life that was truly her own. As the sun rose over the village, Priya felt a renewed sense of hope. A new dawn was breaking, not just in the sky, but in her heart. She was ready to find her voice, to let it be heard, and to create a future where her dreams could flourish. The journey ahead was uncertain, but she was no longer afraid. She was ready to embrace the new dawn with all its possibilities. In many Asian cultures, marriage is not simply the union of two individuals, but the intertwining of two families. This union is celebrated with elaborate ceremonies and rituals that emphasize the importance of family bonds and collective harmony. The wedding day is not just a celebration of love between the bride and groom, but a significant event that brings together two extended families, each with their own traditions and expectations. The daughter-in-law, upon marriage, is expected to seamlessly integrate into her husband's family, often prioritizing their needs above her own. This integration is not merely a social expectation, but a deeply rooted cultural norm. She is often seen as the new caretaker, the one who will uphold the family's honor and traditions. This role can be daunting, especially for young women who are suddenly thrust into a new environment with unfamiliar customs and expectations. Filial piety, a deeply ingrained value, dictates that she must respect and obey her elders, particularly her parents-in-law. This respect is shown through various acts of service and deference, such as bowing, serving tea, and always putting the elders' needs first. The daughter-in-law is expected to embody humility and reverence, often sacrificing her own comfort and desires to ensure the well-being of her husband's family. This often translates into an unspoken obligation to care for them, manage the household, and fulfill the role of the dutiful daughter. She is expected to cook, clean, and assist with daily tasks, all while maintaining a cheerful and respectful demeanor. The weight of these responsibilities can be overwhelming, especially when combined with the pressures of maintaining her own career and personal aspirations. While these traditions are often upheld as virtues, they can place an immense burden on daughter-in-laws. The constant need to meet high expectations can lead to physical and emotional exhaustion. Many young women find themselves struggling to balance the demands of their new role with their own needs and desires. The pressure to be the perfect daughter-in-law can be relentless, leaving little room for self-care or personal growth. The pressure to conform, to please, and to suppress their own desires can be overwhelming. The fear of disappointing their in-laws or bringing shame to the family can lead to a constant state of anxiety. Many daughter-in-laws feel the need to hide their true feelings, putting on a brave face even when they are struggling internally. This emotional suppression can take a toll on their mental health, leading to feelings of sadness and isolation. Many find themselves caught between the expectations of their upbringing and the realities of their new lives, leading to feelings of isolation, frustration, and resentment. The clash between traditional values and modern aspirations can create a sense of inner conflict. While they may want to honor their cultural heritage, they also yearn for independence and self-expression. This internal struggle can be difficult to navigate, leaving many daughter-in-laws feeling trapped and misunderstood. The weight of tradition, while meant to uphold family unity, can sometimes become a heavy burden to bear. The work of a daughter-in-law often goes unnoticed, her daily contributions blending into the background of everyday life. Her efforts are taken for granted, seen as part of her expected role rather than as the significant contributions they truly are. From the first light of dawn till the quiet of dusk, she toils tirelessly, ensuring the smooth running of the household. Her day begins before anyone else's, and often ends long after everyone has gone to bed. She cooks meals that nourish the family, cleans the home to keep it welcoming, does laundry to ensure everyone has clean clothes, and cares for the children, guiding them through their homework, feeding them, and playing with them to ensure they feel loved and supported. Yet her contributions often remain invisible in the grand scheme of things, overshadowed by the more visible achievements of others in the family. This invisible labor, though essential for the well-being of the family, rarely receives the recognition or appreciation it deserves. The meals she prepares, the clean clothes she provides, the tidy home she maintains, all these are often seen as her duty, not as the acts of love and care they truly are. The lack of acknowledgement can be emotionally draining, leaving her feeling unappreciated and undervalued. The constant cycle of work with little to no recognition can take a toll on her mental and emotional well-being. The daughter-in-law, despite her tireless efforts, may feel like an outsider in her own home, her worth measured solely by her ability to fulfill domestic duties. She might find herself standing apart from the family, feeling disconnected and isolated. Her worth is often measured solely by her ability to fulfill domestic duties, and this narrow view can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth. She may feel trapped in a cycle of servitude, where her identity is reduced to the tasks she performs. This can lead to a diminished sense of self-worth and a feeling of being trapped in a cycle of servitude. The constant pressure to meet the expectations of others can erode her sense of self, leaving her feeling lost and unfulfilled. It is crucial to recognize and appreciate the invisible labor that keeps households running smoothly, and to value the individuals who perform this labor, acknowledging their contributions and supporting their well-being. The constant focus on household duties and family obligations often comes at the expense of the daughter-in-law's personal aspirations. Dreams of higher education, professional careers, or even simple hobbies are often sacrificed at the altar of familial duty. The pressure to conform to societal expectations can stifle their ambitions, leaving them feeling unfulfilled and longing for a life less ordinary. This suppression of personal dreams can have a profound impact on their mental and emotional well-being. The lack of agency, the inability to pursue their passions, can lead to feelings of frustration, resentment, and a sense of being trapped in a life not fully their own. But change is possible. By supporting and empowering daughter-in-laws, we can help them achieve their dreams and lead fulfilling lives. Let's work together to create a society where every woman has the opportunity to thrive. Subscribe to our channel for more videos on empowering women and creating positive change.